Hey cousins, happy Friday and welcome back to another episode of Coffee with the Cousins. Sit back, relax, grab your cup of coffee as we get right into this week's episode.
Hey cousins, welcome back to Coffee with the Cousins. We've missed you guys. We've missed doing this. We've missed talking as cousins and just being cousins and doing what cousins do. So I wanted to say, if you're new here, thanks for joining us. We hope that you stay and we hope that you get to know us a bit more and see what we're doing. And if you're not new here, we wanted to introduce a new feature where we are now videotaping while recording. And we're going to upload those to YouTube. So we hope you check those out as well as on the podcast app. And without further ado, hi cousins.
Yay!
Hey.
Really? I just wanted to say, so if you're going to watch on YouTube, you guys might be mad at me for saying this, but we also have a few vlogs up on there. So make sure you check out our whole YouTube page because there's some gems.
I swear, all those videos keep coming up on my Explore page, like on YouTube, and it's the worst. Yeah, it's true. It's because we watch them, but I don't know. Yeah, you can watch them. Some of them are actually fun. There's like 4 or 5. We put the rave.
The rave has a lot of views. A lot.
Yeah.
Just a warning, they're all cringy, but they're like key moments in our lifetime, I think. Like they're some of the best highlights. They're fun.
We thrive.
Also, just a little FYI, I know it's hard to find the YouTube channel itself. I know a friend who wants to watch them, and she searches up Cousin Squad, and it's not at the top. So
there's a lot of
if you find them, you deserve it and watch it, because I think it's like you got to scroll down quite a bit.
And we'll put, obviously, like once we get all this links and videos and podcast stuff up, we can put in our Coffee with Cousins.
Yeah, we can put our YouTube.
Because when we looked, remember there's so many fake cousin squads. We're like, okay, you're not the real cousin squad.
And they're like subpar.
Yeah, so don't watch them. Watch us.
Yeah.
Anyways.
We're really excited for this season when we've had a long break. And like this podcast starting it again has been a long time coming, but we've been just trying to like think of all our best ideas on how we can make it better. So we have a ton of good episode ideas, including the one we're going to talk about today, which is something I think we have a lot of experience on. Like all of us have a lot to say about it, and especially let me just say what it is. We want to give you our take on friendships and just like friends. We want to talk about our friendship, but also other friends, maybe bad friends, or all of that kind of thing. So let's get right into it. I want to ask you guys, how do you think that we have done so well being friends in all different life stages?
Does someone want to start? Or I can.
Yep.
Yeah, you go. Okay. This is a lot more simple, but I'm going to start us off simple. I think one of the things, because we're all in different life stages, obviously, I'm in grade 12. I guess I'll just say this quickly. Grade 12, there's 2 kind of like university college students, and then also just like 2 people who either are like getting married or have already been married. So that's pretty different.
Very
each
different.
one of us. But I think like one of the things that, at least for me, is important is just like having things that like I can do with you guys. So like this is a bit different because we all live in the same like different places now too. But like Cass and I, one of our things, we're 5 years in difference in age, but we like love to do yoga today. Okay? Oh my gosh, I have word vomit today, but we love to do yoga together, and that's one of the things like I found that we've bonded over. So I don't know. I think just like finding things that you can do, even without necessarily like it doesn't have to be like school or for Cass like maybe like married couple things, but I don't know, just finding things we like to do together. If I don't know,
like similar interests too is kind of like I think a reason too how we can. Because we all are like, we're very, very different, but also we have things that are so similar. So I think that's like, I don't know, I find like we have a lot of things in common where I'm like, oh, like I love to hang out with my cousins because we love this, or we all like this. We all like, example, like we all love coffee. We can talk about it. Yeah. We go out for coffee. We all love doing this podcast. We all love Taylor Swift. It's just a good time. Like, it's so fun to have friends that you have so much in common with. There's more than what I just named, but.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's a good way to put it. Yeah, similar interests. Find similar interests with
and things you can do. Yeah. Like, oh, let's go do this. Well, do you remember too? Okay, this is kind of funny. I know, like, we're trying not to say as many stories because, if you've hung out with us in person, like, we love to just talk about ourselves, essentially. It's kind of bad, but we like to just talk about, like, cousin times that we've had, and, like, people aren't there, and we're like, Kate, guess what? But one funny one that I remember is, like, sometimes we do at sleepovers. I know people think we might do, I don't know what people think we might do. Sometimes all we do
it's a mystery.
Talk at the kitchen table.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I do that now, yeah.
We keep just literally talking. Yeah. And so that's why we made the podcast, because all we do is
talk.
Yeah.
Talk.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what I was thinking is, like, the four of us, we probably all decided, like, one of the reasons why we're so close, even though we're all doing different kind of things, is because, like, we know that we're lifelong friends. Mm-hmm. Like, how you have friends that are for seasons, like, maybe, like, you had your elementary school friends, or you have, like, your friends from this sport, or, like, from your work. So maybe, what do you think is the difference between, like, a lifelong friend and also your seasonal friends? Or, like, how do you know if someone's a lifelong friend?
Yeah, I think you'll know by what season of life you're in that moment. Like, I think in high school, it's a given that a lot of people in high school are your friends for that moment, because you're all living in the exact same way in time, and you're all going to school at the same time. You're into sports, or you have part-time jobs. So it's like so many people who have this, like, similar lifestyles going on in one place. But that, like, those connections, some friendship connections in high school aren't that deep. Like, they're just, you don't even hang out with them outside of school. So it's like, yeah, you might be really close, but are you really, like, good friends if you aren't hanging out outside of school? So it's just like, that's how like, those type of friends are seasonal. But I think one thing is that even if there's, like, seasonal friends versus like long-term friends, you can actually look at it like, okay, this is just a seasonal friend, so I can't put much effort into it. Like, that's, I feel like, is wrong. And you need to always just think of them as lifelong friends, which is kind of, like, weird to say. I don't know. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Because you kind of remember, like, I remember those people in high school where you could tell, like, they're not putting any effort into a friendship. So I guess there's, like, a line of, like, knowing, like, okay, this person might not be in my life forever, but I'm going to make the most of our friendship now and not be like, oh, I don't need any friends because this is high school. High school sucks. I don't need people. I'm going to be on my own in a couple years anyways. I don't know. So I agree. I think there's a fine line. And I also think with, like, friends for a season and friends for lifetime or whatever, there's, like, a quote, but I don't remember what it is. I think too, Cass, you said, like, deep. And I think that's so true. Like, you can tell when a friendship is surface level, and that's not a bad thing. Some, like, friends you'll just be very surface level with, like, oh, like, never getting super deep and kind of just always fun. But I think there's a level of, like, deepness in, especially, like, that we have too. Like, we just have a very, like, deep understanding of each other, and I don't know. So it's definitely, like, I guess that could be a way you can tell if it's, like, a lifelong friendship, is if, like, you know more than their middle name or something.
Yeah.
Like,
I know my dad, he always would tell me, because, like, you know how, like, okay, school friends, you're spending so much time with them. And I heard this thing, and it was like, okay, I've noticed this is true. Like, it's been a year since I graduated high school, but I noticed that the friends that I didn't really have, like, a deepness, like, in our friendship with, like, we only talked about school things, like, whatever was happening there, like, I'm not really in touch with them anymore. And it is sad to say, because it's like those people were in your life for the last 4 years or more than that. But at the same time, it's like, okay, if you do want to bring your friendship to the next level, it's going to take both people to be, like, putting effort in and, like, doing things more than just what you're friends for. I don't know.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But I think like the four of us have definitely gotten that because it's like we had a lot of history, which has helped. But then when we were all in different places and now doing all different things, we had to actually put effort in and like, yeah, know each other on a deeper level. But
I also think too, just to quickly add, seasonal friends could also be, even if you were maybe, even if you were, you know, you had a deep relationship, you had more of a connection, they could also just still be a seasonal friend in the sense that maybe they're just in your life for that time of life that you're in, you know? So I just feel like that's important to like add. It could just be a friend in your past that maybe you were close to, but not as much anymore, you know?
And you don't always need like a big falling out. I think that's a thing too.
Yeah.
Like sometimes it's literally just you grow apart. And sometimes too, like I've noticed that when I'm like talking about like an old friend and I'm like, oh, literally nothing happened between us. We're just not close anymore, you know? And there's nothing wrong with that. It's like completely normal.
yeah. Okay. When you find those people in your life where you're like, okay, this is like my best friend for life, like definitely what we have in each other. What do you do when you're not in the same place? Like us.
Like long distance.
Yeah, you're doing long distance. Like whether it be like your friend who you guys go to different universities or just like someone moves away. I don't know. It could be anything.
I think one thing is like you're always talking about the next time you'll meet up and making a solid plan for when you'll see each other next. Because if you don't talk about that, then it's just like, where are you headed? Well, like obviously you're still friends, but for us, I know it's like, hey, okay, so like we're all going to see each other at Addie's wedding. And like if that's the furthest away that we'll see each other, and then hopefully we'll get to see each other in a couple weeks and meet up halfway. But it's like making those plans just to see each other more often and making that effort to be like, just to voice them out loud, I think is really important because I don't know, it just puts a place to friendships. You know what I mean?
Cass, I think that's really good. And also like because like obviously me and my fiance now, we had to be long distance. So I remember like hearing things about like long distance relationship, and that's like what everyone says is like you have to know when you're gonna meet up next. You can't just be like, man, I'll see you when I see you. And I feel like for us, we haven't all been in the same room together since, I was trying to think, like 2 summers ago.
Bad.
Is that true? 2 summers? Or was it Christmas? No, it was 2 summers, which is sad.
Yeah.
Or 1.
It is sad.
It was Christmas, right?
No. It was 2 summers, Miguel.
Oh,
It's
okay.
just sad, but it's like, even though we didn't know when we're going to see each other again, we were always looking forward to it. You know what I mean? And now it's like we have my wedding to look forward to seeing each other. But yes, we're trying to plan like to see each other earlier. But it's just, even if like the next time you're going to see that person is like a year, like just look forward to that and plan on that. Not like, we'll see. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
And like we've got to see each other individually. We just haven't all been together. But like I saw Cass last November and then I saw you girls this summer. But yeah, I just think, I don't know, Cass, I think that's really good.
Yeah, planning the next time you see each other. Because then you can also talk about what you want to do. And then
100%.
that's how you keep your interest the same and growing. Like, one example that's always going to come back until the end of eternity, I think, is Taylor Swift. And it's just because she's always like updating her, I don't know, like socials and music and songs and albums. But when we meet up next, she's actually like going to be releasing some stuff. So that's part of that is like, we're gonna have a listen party. Like that's one of the things we're gonna do. And so I think in planning that, we're even more excited to hang out with each other.
Yeah.
That's what I'm excited for.
I'm pumped.
Yeah. I think like another thing for sure is we sometimes have to get better at this because the podcast has definitely helped us stay in touch when we're not like kind of just updated on each other's day-to-day lives, which I think is important to know, especially with your closest friends. But we like talking regularly and kind of just like on the phone, like actually hearing each other's voices is really important. But that's always, I don't find like doing a call with someone like that takes a lot of effort to do and like planning and stuff, and you don't always feel like doing it. So one thing I have found helpful that I've been doing with some of my friends is just like sending a voice recording every once in a while.
I love when you do that.
And then usually someone will send a voice memo back to me. They'll be like, and then you can talk for like 2 to 3 minutes and like say enough because you're not typing it all out. And then it's also not like the same as a call. Yeah, but I think like I want to try definitely doing that even more with you, Cass, and you, Addie, for sure, because Cass, even like we don't see each other as much as we used to anymore because we live like not far away from each other, but still like
it's different. Like when I'm 30 minutes away versus I was 5 minutes away for like a year.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it does make a difference.
We plan our hangouts between the three of us, but sometimes it's busy, so it's good to like keep. Yeah. Anyway, Sophia, do you have anything to say?
Yeah, just quickly, I find I could easily get discouraged by long distance friendships only because I get sad that like some of my best friends live far away. Because I'm like, I remember like telling my mom like why like I wish I could just hang out with them today, you know, on a random, I don't know, Saturday. So yeah, I just think all the things you guys said are super important. Just like daily updates, daily texts. We have friends from Timmins who we don't see that much, but they're like our best friends. So we vlog our life on stories, and I don't know, just little things, or like texting to update, simple things. Keep it going.
Yeah,
for sure. Texts can make a big difference. I think just sending like a little, "Hey, how's it going?" Okay. Next, does anyone else have anything to say? Add to that?
No.
Okay. I wanted to talk a little bit about bad friends, or maybe flaky friends. I was thinking it's pretty specific, but at the same time, I think a lot of people have had flaky friends, like just people who you're like, I don't know, a lot. I don't know if you guys can relate to that, but I think maybe your listeners can.
Yeah.
Honestly, I've probably even been a flaky friend, which is sad to say, but I don't know. I could catch myself if I'm busy, say I'm in a busy season, wanting to like do everything. So that could be even just like hanging out with all these different people. And I just don't think that's the best way to do it. I feel like you want to be like intentional in your relationships. And that means if you have plans with someone, like follow through, like hang out with them. And like, I think maybe even choosing like 5 people that you're really going to prioritize those relationships just to like avoid being a flaky friend.
It's funny because like when Michaela, when you were talking about like we all have bad friends in your life, maybe this is just me being really hard on myself. But at first I was like, oh, I'm probably a bad friend to some people because it's so hard to have like profound relationships with everybody. Like Sophia was saying, like to say you like, okay, I'll talk about like, you know, like Facebook friends, and it's like, okay, like I think I have like 300 or something, but it's like those are like none of them, probably 10% I'm actually really close to and I talk to on the daily. The others are just acquaintances. So I think like prioritizing that is really good. But also like Sophie was saying, like, yeah, it is hard for me to like put priorities on my friendships like with people, and I have to not be hard on myself because it's like an unrealistic expectation to, I don't know, be so good at everything. But I think I can always learn from, I don't know, being a better friend. Maybe that's what I'm trying to say.
I like what you said, Sophia, about prioritizing certain friendships. Like, I think once you kind of like think through the different people in your life and you're like, okay, these ones are definitely important. Maybe they're lifelong friends, or maybe they're just really important friendships that you want to pour into. Like making that kind of list in your head or on paper and like deciding to put effort into that is, I think, a really good idea. It's like a way of being intentional, which is important in your friendships.
Yeah, I think that's good too, especially like sometimes I think of like draining friendships and friendships where it's like they're your friend, but also like they can just drain you. And there's nothing like wrong with that. I feel like everyone has different types of relationships with people. And maybe too, when you're thinking of like what relationships you'll prioritize, if you have a friend who maybe like is super draining and maybe just not like, I don't know if it's just me, but I'm like, maybe just not like your favorite person on the planet, but they are still your good friend. You know, maybe just prioritizing like still being like in a good relationship with them, but if this friend takes a lot out of you, blah, 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 maybe like prioritizing putting time in like the friendships that don't make you feel drained. And I don't know if that's rude to say, but that's just what I was thinking.
I get it. There's like a difference between the friends that you're able to just like, I don't know, like be with at any time of the day.
And like be yourself. Like, I know that's cliche, but yeah.
Yeah. And I think, but then it's still, I know what you mean. It's like, you still love that friend and like you still want to be their friend, but at the same time, it's like, it's different than it would be with other people.
Yeah, 100%.
I think for sure to add on to that, Addie, because I definitely agree with you. There exist friends like that. But I think it's important to communicate kind of to them in the sense like, you know, not, oh, like, I don't want to necessarily hang out with you all the time, but maybe just saying like, you know what, I'm in a busy season of life, and like maybe just kind of knowing like that their expectations can't be too high in that friendship in a sense. I don't know, kind of putting words together.
Like that. Yeah.
That makes
like
sense.
Letting them know, because you wouldn't want to, you know, be giving 50% to a relationship where they're giving like full force effort. Yeah. So,
and I think that's where like the flakiness comes in, like a flaky friend. It's like, well, how do you know if you're the flaky friend, and how do you know if your friend's being a flaky friend? It's like, okay, if you're putting in 100% and they're, like you said, putting in 50.
Yeah.
It's hard.
It's actually interesting because like when I was writing down different topics, like Sophie and I were talking about flaky friends, but also like how to avoid being that, because we're not always like, sometimes we're always like thinking about other people, but I forget like kind of like what Cass is saying, but also the opposite. Like it is us sometimes. I feel like we need to realize that okay, we're the one who's like not putting in the effort in this friendship, and maybe it's because this person's like a little bit annoying to us, or I don't know, or
we don't want more effort in friendship.
Yeah.
But I think the best thing is definitely to be what Sophia said, like communicate that, because that's like the best thing to do for someone is to be honest with them, maybe in like the kindest way possible, but at the same time it's like,
you know, when you like make a plan with a friend like the week before, and you make a plan whatever to go do something, and then the whole week you're like, oh, like I gotta go do that, and it's like a chore, and then at the last minute they cancel and you're like, oh, good, like I didn't want to go anyway. I get that sometimes. I haven't in a long time, but I'm like, what does that say about me? Like, am I even putting enough effort? Like, okay, I made the plan, but I don't even want it to happen. So what does that say about me? But I don't know. It's funny. And I think everyone relates to that at some times, because sometimes you just make plans and you're just too tired the day of. And it's like, oh, I have to go and put in a lot of effort to make conversation. Anyway.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever seen those TikToks and it's like, when like my extroverted self makes plans, but then like the day comes and it's your introverted self and you're like, oh, like I really don't want to go.
Yeah.
Relatable. Kind of maybe what you were saying a bit, but
yeah.
I feel like that's kind of why it's so important to actually know your limits and stuff like that. Like don't make plans that you're going to be dreading go to just because you can't say no. But
that's true too. Yeah.
Also, one more thing, we can move away from the flaky friend topic, but just say you get into the situation where maybe better plans come up. Don't go and cancel your original plans to go, like, I don't know, and that could be hard, but I think that's something that maybe a lot of people fall into.
But also, like, good advice is maybe like trying to mash those plans together. Like, let's say you made, I don't know, like plans with someone one-on-one, but then there's a group thing going on. Like maybe asking the other friend, being like, hey, do you want to do this? And if it's fine if you don't, because I'm happy to just spend time with you as well. But if you wanted to, we could go hang out with this group. Like I've done that before.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
It's so fun. Theory about that. Cass, don't you think some people are better group friends?
Yeah.
Like, I can think of people that I'm like, okay, like I dread hanging out with this person one-on-one, but if we're in a group, like I'm so happy when they're there. So I think that's so true. Like, oh, maybe let's go hang out in a group, because there's definitely like a thing of like group friends that are really fun in a group, but like one-on-one could either be you just can't be yourself, or a lot of effort, which there's nothing wrong with effort, but you know what I mean, where it's like pulling teeth, like, so tell me more. Like, I don't know.
Okay, but I want to do a little disclaimer, because I was just thinking this for listeners, or like even for myself, like just because one person is not that you would say this to them, but one person is thinks that you're like a high, like they require effort to hang out with you, doesn't mean everyone thinks that about you. Okay, and does it make sense? Because I feel like everyone's so different, and so some people you're gonna get along in different ways than with other people. I don't know. I was just thinking about that.
Like about me, hands down. Like, oh, she's so, she's a lot. I'm like, yeah.
But like for one person might be like, oh, like I can't hang out with her that much. But then the other person's like, I can spend every second with her.
Yeah, I think that's true.
Know that.
And we're all different, and yeah.
Yeah. Cass mentioned something earlier. She was saying like Facebook friends, and then people like I've heard that our generation and probably the generation millennials, they're thinking that like they're the loneliest generation, but then we also have like the most Instagram friends and followers and like Facebook friends and followers. So I was thinking like, how do you deepen your friendship? Because I think a lot of people are missing out on like real true friendships. And we did touch on this a little bit with our lifelong friends and stuff like that. But how do you think like practical ways on how to do that?
Quality time.
Yeah. I was going to say like taking your friendship off of social media, and like what I'm trying to say is like, like on social media, you put out your best pictures, your best, experiences. And it's like, if you're always just putting out your best, there's just literally just surface level. So it's like, let's say like Addie, I'd meet up with you and I'm only telling you about the highlights of my life. You would just like, we're just talking about the highs. And so I think like, I would call that like a social media friendship, when you just tell someone like about the best things in your life. But I think what like pulls us together is like talking about hard stuff, or just even like, yeah, that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
I like that.
Sure.
Social media friendship makes sense.
Yeah.
I feel like I don't know. I feel like that's the best way to answer it, honestly, because a bit different, but almost the same in some sense. Like avoid that small talk. I think like what we were saying about high school friends, the reason why a lot of people don't stay friends after high school is because all they actually have in common is high school. So when you go away from that, it's a bit awkward because you're like maybe just reminiscing on high school memories. So I don't know. I think that would be maybe a way, just going beyond surface level talk.
Yeah, get deeper in your conversations, hang out more, put effort in, kind of all the things we've been talking about.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like people just shy away from like awkward things, like they don't want things to be weird, but I feel like you have to kind of get through a little bit of that, and you have to get over yourself to be able to get deeper. It's like not super simple because you have to be a bit vulnerable, but it's worth it. And I think like if you actually want to have meaningful friendships, and like also you can't put a mask on every time you're hanging out with someone. Like how are you ever going to get deeper with someone if you're always kind of faking it around them? Like,
yeah, like you have to get deep too. Like you can't just expect them to deepen the friendship. It's like you gotta be yourself.
Yeah, that's very true.
One thing I just want to touch on quickly, because I've been noticing this a lot with myself. I feel like another way to deepen your friendships is to actually like, okay, not that you have to be going through like conflict, but I feel like there is a bit of an aspect of like, I don't know how to say this. Like in a friendship, usually the people that you're closest to, like I'll just use the example of Sophia and I, like we're best friends, sisters, but obviously like because we're sisters and because we're so close, we like tend to like, there could be some conflict with us, but we actually, maybe butt heads, but we work through it because we're not like being fake with one another. So we're able to like, because we know our friendship is worth it, we're able to work through it. So I feel like, I don't know if this is a requirement for a friendship. I want to hear what you guys think. But at the same time, I'm like, I feel like this is important to like not have problems, but be able to like work through things together and like end up on the other side of some stuff.
Kate, so I was just going to say, it kind of sounds like you're talking about a marriage. Like, so that's my stage of love right now is newlywed, and I'm learning how to go through that. But also, I think when it comes to friendships, if you have like not an end goal, but like Michaela and Sophia are sisters, you know, you're always going to be sisters. So it's like when you butt heads, you know, you're going to have to talk about it because you're always going to be in each other's lives. Like us, like no matter what happens in this group, like we're cousins, we're related. So I know you'll always be in my life no matter what, whether that's distant or like close. So like my husband, that's so weird to say still, by the way, but it's like if we ever have conflict, like I made a commitment to him, so he's always going to be in my life. So I know we're going to have to talk about that and find resolutions for our problems because like our end goal is there is no end, right? Kind of. So it's like,
yeah,
there's a lot of friendships like that where it's like an infinity friendship, like an eternity friendship, which also is like your Christian friends. It's like I have non-Christian friends, and obviously I still put an effort in, like I try to deepen that friendship, but there's nothing deeper than a friendship I have with a Christian. And that's because we both talk about like what's after this life and what's coming, and we want to be together with God. Anyway, so I think, okay, like it's so important to talk about your issues when you're butting heads with a friendship that you know you have an end goal with.
Yeah. Okay, so maybe it's not necessarily like you don't need to have conflict, but you need to, like, if there is a fight, it doesn't mean it's the end of the friendship. It means that you can work through it, and it actually will be better at the other side of it.
You need to know how to solve it if there is, but it's not like you need to fight to be friends. It's like, no, like,
yeah.
I totally get what you mean.
I hope it wasn't implying that.
No, you're right.
So to end this off, I want to talk about how you can be the best kind of friend, and also how being the best kind of friend helps you find friends that what you're looking for. Like I've to a little clarify that it's like I think you attract what you put out, like who you are. And so like if you're a friend who's kind, like you'll probably have kind friends. Maybe that's not true. Maybe in some way.
No, that is true.
What could you do to be a good friend? Maybe is what you mean. Okay,
I can go if you guys.
Yeah.
Like, okay, one thing is, okay, I have like a lot of things I could say, but I think the biggest thing for me is a friend that's listening. Like, when someone hangs out with me and they're not just always trying to talk and they're actually listening and like just genuinely interested in my life, I feel so much better. Like I feel like they're actually wanting to be there. And so what I've started to do is just listen to people. I like listening to what they have to say and not being quick to like interrupt them or always trying to put words in. But it's like you can both be quiet and still get something out of that, if that makes sense. Just being thoughtful and intentional and listening. That's the biggest thing for me, I think. On a deeper friendship level. On like something else I wanted to be is like energetic. Sometimes I could be very energetic and hyper all the time. And so there are some friendships that just naturally take that out of me. Like my best friend Lauren, whenever we're together, it's just like we pull like this huge thing out of each other, and we're just so like excited and like we're always laughing. So it's like there's those kind of friendships where it's like I want someone who's energetic with me, but then there's also other friendships where it's like I just want you to listen and I want to listen to you. So those are my two
That's really good. I think I'll go next if that's okay, because it kind of goes along what you were saying. In some sense, I just feel like to be a good friend, you kind of want to like I don't know how to put this, but like really hype them up like all the time, in a sense that like you're excited for them and you're excited for their new things in their life and you're excited for their success. Because I think about like people in my life who like are always like so happy, or they're just alongside me cheering me on, and those are the best friends, not the friends who kind of are like, oh, like not showing as much excitement.
Yeah, you know, the friends that are a little bit jealous.
And you can tell.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like not as fun.
Yeah.
I guess I can go next. I think of dependable, and I know that's like basic, but just being there, because it's like how to, like, if you're doing this and then like you say, like maybe you can attract it back or whatever. If you're like a dependable friend, not a flaky friend, but not even flaky, just with that kind of thing. Just even like, oh, like I really need you and they're not there type of thing. Yeah. I don't know. I think it's important to be there for people. And it kind of goes into what Cass and Sophia said, like being there and listening for them, being there to hype them up when they need it, just being dependable.
Yeah. I love what Sophia said. Sorry. Like when I think something that's important is, this is all what we were talking about earlier, when it's like different seasons of life. And it's like, I should still be excited, even though Sophia and I were 5 years apart. Like, I want to be excited for her season of life, and like her in high school and you in sports and all that. And then you also like to be excited about my season of life where I'm getting married. And it's like, obviously you don't want that for yourself, but you can still be excited for me. And then that's how we connect. It's like, obviously I don't want to go back to high school, but I'm excited for you and the experiences you're getting. Like, you know what I mean?
For sure.
Yeah. I think that is important, like to be excited for your friends, genuinely, not just like, yay,
you're doing so well.
Yeah, it's like, yes, like, oh, so fun, like you're going to like your prom, like that is awesome, like, you know, that's exciting and things like that.
I think, what you're saying, like hyping each other up, that's important.
That's good.
And calling out what's like special about someone, or like affirming someone. I think maybe this is just a me thing, but I feel like I need a lot of affirmation. So whenever someone's like, okay, like you're doing good, or like, Michaela, or just like compliments me in a genuine way, it means a lot to me. And I think I want to do that more with each other, and with my other friends, to be like you're doing so good at where you're at right now, or like whatever, like for the small things, and then for the big things, like obviously a big celebration all the time.
Michaela, you actually do that, because one thing that's always stuck in my head, and it's something you told me, you told me that I was one of your funniest friends and I always make you laugh. And it's like, that boosted my confidence, because sometimes I think I'm an annoying funny, but then I guess like to you I'm funny, but to other people I might not be, and that's fine. Like, it's just different friendships get different things out of each other. So
yeah, that's
but it
true.
just makes me feel good about myself.
And it means a lot more coming from like a real true friend than like a random person on the street. It's like, oh, like I don't know. At least I think that means more.
I think
it's not just like Michaela, you were saying, it's just, you know, everyone kind of lacks that assertiveness and they want that affirmation. So yeah, tell your friends, this is gonna sound cringe, but tell your friends you love them. Tell your friends, like,
I'm all for that.
just say like, I appreciate our friendship so much. Like, I love you.
Yeah,
I told my friends.
Yeah,
you don't know how much power that holds. Like, even like calling out something in someone that they didn't even know about themselves, like that can push them to do really big things, or just it means a lot. Yeah, I feel like celebration, I was thinking kind of just like, this is so basic, but I think it's like needed nowadays. It's like someone you can really trust and you can be yourself fully with. And you don't have to
put on an act or a show.
Yeah. And I want to, sometimes I'm like, wait, am I allowing people to kind of like open up to me? Because I'm like, I'm like the type of person that I really love, like having like opening, like it's easier for me. I don't mind being vulnerable with someone, but I'm like hoping someone can be that with me. So like, I think if you're like that, that opens it up for other people to be like that.
For sure.
Yeah. But I think like all of the things that we talked about today all have helped us become
better friends,
best friends for each other. Yeah. And I think like without some of them, like if we could have totally just decided like, oh, it's too hard when we're doing long distance and not have been friends. But like we are willing to put in the effort for it. So that's probably the biggest thing, is putting effort into a friendship. And like, all being genuine with each other. But that was fun.
It's so easy to abandon a friendship.
Yeah.
When you were talking, I was like, it's so easy just to like distance yourself from it, because it's like sometimes we just want to do it. But anyway,
it's hard, and sorry, this is kind of off topic. Well, not really, but I'm just thinking for like the people that are having the honor of watching us live, or not live, but on YouTube. You might be wondering what we're wearing, and we're all matching. These are our season 2 Cousin Squad hoodies. You can't actually purchase them, but we're gonna work on like a season 3 launch and hopefully do some giveaways. So that's what we're wearing. Stay tuned. It says Cousin Squad Gold Coffee Cup,
and they have little mugs.
They're really cute. And we all thought we wore it for the episode, but stay tuned on our Instagram for coffee merch or coffee.
I'm like overheating, but I can't take the sweater off.
It's warm.
The sun is hot.
Little tip: if you want to have best friends, you can get hoodies with them.
Yeah, we're not.
That is
we even had Cousin Squad merch before we even had a podcast. We just wore like Cousin Squad. Like, it's fun. Who cares? It's fun. We're best friends. So,
and it's fun when you're in public and like people will ask you and be like, "Oh, are you from a team?" And it's like, "No, we're cousins." I love telling people that.
Channel. Because we got our matching like first Cousin Squad stuff, and then we all bought matching PJs, and we thought it'd be really fun to walk around in public in them.
In our pajamas.
We're so obsessed with ourselves sometimes. I'm like, and
it's bad,
but it's fun.
It's so
I was just thinking about that time we went to a convenience store late at night, all dressed in pajamas, and they were like see-through white shirts and like the shortest shorts. Why did we think we were so like cute? We had this like Pinterest aesthetic that we wanted to take in the corner store, and it did not work.
No, definitely
not.
It
didn't turn out right. Not like we expected. I didn't think we looked like that.
And the picture is actually on our Instagram, on our fake Instagram, on our like. So
like story after this.
Yeah.
Just
we had great ideas, but like that wasn't one of our good ones.
No.
Yeah, the see-through pajama pants. We just all wanted matching, and those.
It's so funny. At least like it's good memories, and who remembers except us? To be honest,
exactly. It's so funny.
It's so funny. It's so bad. Okay, that will wrap up this week's episode of Coffee with the Cousins. We are so excited to be back, guys. Like, let us know any feedback. Like, we want it. We want interactive fans. Like, we'd love to, like, that's why we went into the giveaways thing. But yeah, let us know what you think. And we'll see you next week.
And subscribe.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Please give us 5-star ratings. Please.
Yes, the ratings on the podcast, we love that. That makes us
just happy. Constructive criticism.
Sure, yeah. Even if it's a 1-star, like I might be upset for a couple weeks, but I'll get over it.
Yeah, just let us know why.
Have to give a critique and why. You can't just give us a 1-star. You need to.
Yeah, true.
Yeah,
tell me why.
For sure.
And if you're my brother, do not leave a review at all. Thank you. Bye.
Yes. That goes to all the brothers out there.
Yeah. No brothers can comment. Because they have rude comments.
They are rude. They're not supportive. And sometimes, like, you get a little hate from your family.
Yeah.
It's true. They think we're cringy. But, like, the friendships are cringy sometimes. Especially the really fun ones.
I think people just want to be us.
That's true. People tell me that all the time on the daily.
You know what?
Let us know.
Have you ever seen that post? It's like, being friends with your cousins is such a big flex or something like that.
Yeah.
It is. Like, we're cousins and we're best friends. At family dinners, this is it. It's so fun.
Yeah.
Anyways.
I know. We get too much hate for no reason.
It's true.
Mm-hmm. All the haters want to be me. You know that song?
Yes. What is that? That's from that weird...
Krispy Kreme 2012.
Yes. Okay, that was our brothers.
Yeah. 2012.
Yeah, the haters want to be me. Okay, that's banger. Okay. Anyways, it was one of those weird YouTube videos that got really popular. But we would have been like 6. but our brothers were like that age.
And we thought it was so cool that we knew it too.
Yes.
At least I did. That's funny.
Oh, same. That's cute. I love that. Kaz, that's like a vault you just like opened in my brain. Okay, one thing too, maybe we can talk about really quick. I just think this would be fun, not for anyone really but us. But what do you think? Okay. What do you think the Midnight's album will be like? Just say it in like 5 seconds what you think really fast. This is the new Taylor Swift album, by the way.
Wait,
her best yet.
Me too. Rep
definitely
on
her best.
No, I actually think it's gonna be her best album yet. Everything.
Yeah.
Me too.
Do you think?
I think it's gonna be cross. Yeah. No go.
I heard like pop, but do you think it'll be like? I don't know.
I think
I'm hoping it's gonna be a cross between 1984. 1984.
I love 1980.
I'm done. I'm not talking.
A cross between 1984.
I am a big fan. I'm done talking. Bye, guys.
Maybe we should do a whole. I would love to do a whole episode about the Midnight's release. I'm sorry, Sophia. But I want to do a full episode about the Midnight's release, but I don't know if we have enough interest in that.
My mom definitely wouldn't listen. My mom's a Taylor Swift hater.
I think it's definitely going to happen because how will we not be able to control ourselves for that? But okay, answering your question, Addie, I think it might. I'm hoping for maybe like a bit of like a soft rock, like she goes into that genre, pop,
okay,
false god style type of. But then also, to more answer your question, I think Swifties are gonna like freak. Like I think this is like Michaela said, her best album yet.
Bad Taylor, but like pop.
Yeah.
Good,
yeah.
But I hope she's like
bit of like folklore.
Yeah.
I just think lyrically now, after Evermore and Folklore, it can't go downhill. Like you can only get better.
Especially a new album, you can't.
Because it started here, it's like already this good. So I'm like, I just don't think she'd let herself. Anyway, that's why if you listen to the last like 5-7 minutes of this, you're a real one. We stopped talking about friendships, but. It's fun to talk a bit more, but we're gonna end it here. Thank you so much for listening. Everything else that I said before.
We love you,
see you next week. Yeah, we love you, cousins. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much for listening to this week's episode of Coffee with the Cousins. See you next week.